Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. What's up, everybody?
Hey, guys.
Hi, everyone.
So just a reminder to the audience, I have the Science of PEDs and Anabolics course up for sale at anabolicbodybuilding.com. Link is in the video description if you want to check it out. Kurt Havens and I put an awesome course together. There's over 100 modules in there now and 50 plus hours of content. Monthly Q&A. It's pretty badass if you guys want to check it out. I think it's the most comprehensive thing out there for on PED education.
It definitely is.
If you guys want to check it out. My intro music, I probably shouldn't publicly complain about this, but it pisses me off. I have changed it. People were asking me why I changed it on my other videos. I left it the same on this one. I have to appeal it every time I post a video.
I do too.
Somebody... Well, it's Epidemic Sound, you guys. Epidemic Sound, shame on you. Post a copyright claim every time I put it up, even though I already own a license on it from another vendor. So, Epidemic Sound, you can eat a big one. I'm just saying that.
The same thing happens to me. Like, we paid for a license and they still... It's still... I think it's like... It's an automatic YouTube thing. They probably automatically...
Well... What it is the vendor's using probably an AI to crawl YouTube and look for anybody that's using any of the music that they have, and then they just by default file a copyright claim. But the thing is like people license this stuff to multiple companies like the bands do, so they make the most money out of it. But Epidemic Sound, like every time they file a claim and then I get it released. And I reached out to them about it, and they're like, well, just buy a license from us. And I'm like, dude, I already paid for a license from Canva. So you guys can eat a big one. Yeah. That's what I say. So I had to change my song because I just don't want to deal with this every single time I post a video. Yeah. It's nuts. Anyway, that's my rant today. We just got back from the Olympia. That was a fantastic time. I had a great time at the Olympia.
Yeah, I did too. It was great.
What did you guys think of everything?
I thought it was pretty fun, pretty cool. I think the Arnold sort of eclipses it in scale and grandeur.
Yeah, the Arnold's a better show.
But it was still, I mean, it's the fucking Olympia. It was awesome. It was in Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas is awesome. I had a good time. I did, there's a couple of little gripes. I think it was the first year that the new promoter was handling the production, but there was some pretty rookie mistakes they made. You should record your own.
Yeah, do a tuba intro for.
I mean, I was a tuba major in college. I could play a tuba sonata for you.
Yeah, I forget that you were.
That would be funny.
It would be
awesome.
And sit there and play the tuba. Chad Coles likes you, Amy.
Amy's fans always coming out of the woodwork.
Chad, do you live in Denver?
Hey, there's Steve.
What's up, Steve? So awesome seeing you again, bud.
Steve was great. That's one thing I took from the whole trip is we had never met each other in person, and although we have a great relationship, we all kind of talk, but meeting everybody in person, everybody are really such genuine people. Everybody very humble, very gracious. Steve was great. Oh yeah,
Amy made sure everyone had plenty of cookies for the entire weekend.
Everyone had cookies. Already planning the Arnold cookies.
She was like a drug pusher.
I ate like 55 of them myself. Somehow after all the food we ate in Vegas, I came home and I hopped on the scale and I lost weight. I don't know how the fuck that was possible.
Oh my god, that's funny.
I need to find out from Steve what his cycle is, because Jesus Christ, man, he
Oh my gosh, he was huge.
he gained a 5th grader since the last time I saw him. He was
Yeah,
like
the
up,
picture of me and him and Aaron, I'm like, oh my gosh, like they're huge.
What's up, DJ?
Yeah,
Steve was like massive. Like I saw him when we saw him at Swiss. I mean, he wasn't small. Yeah, he gained 10 pounds.
10 pounds of pure muscle.
Yeah.
Mass.
But everybody was so nice. Like, and everybody genuinely wants to help people. And that's what I don't, it's not like it's surprising, but it's really good to see. And everybody there was very
a little surprising,
gracious.
though, isn't it? It's a little rare in this day and
It
age.
is
like,
rare.
Everybody's trying to make a buck off of somebody else. Like,
Right.
The people who are like just doing it to help, and then the financial success is a byproduct of the good service they provide. Those people are rare.
Yeah, you're right. You're actually right. And it was great to see every single person that we were with was just wanted to help people. And they were very genuine about it. They want to help everybody. They talked to everybody who came up to them. It was, especially with somebody like Steve's following, like, you would think that some of that would get to his head. Not at all. Mm-hmm. Such a nice guy, gracious guy, wanted to help everybody, took time to talk to every single person who wanted to shake his hand. And there's a lot of people who wanted to shake Steve's hand. Everybody, Amy, Colin, you, Paul, Chase, everybody, Kurt, even Justin was there, Colton. Everybody was just so nice and so gracious. It was great experience.
Yeah. I agree 100%, Ryan. It was just so nice meeting everyone in person. Like it's cool seeing you guys on camera every week and stuff, but like it doesn't translate. You see people in person, and yeah, I agree. You guys are just all fucking top tier people.
Yeah.
I'm proud to be involved with you.
Yeah. Aaron Burke was there too. Such an amazing guy.
Oh yeah, Aaron's the man.
Aaron's the man.
Big guy.
Speak for yourself. I was just there for the cooking. Screw everybody else. I don't care about anything else.
Yeah, right.
Man, I ate so much fucking food while we were there. Oh my god. I think I got a year's worth of cheat meals in 5 days.
I mean, Vegas is the place to eat. If you can't find it in Vegas, it probably doesn't exist.
Steve mentioned the pepper mill. I had to get there before I left, man. After the Grand Canyon, I went there. That is the most copious amount of French fries I've ever seen in my life, and nachos.
The nachos you showed me. Oh my god.
Oh my god, the nachos were insane. Usually when I'm on vacation, what I'll do, like I'll just fast during the day and then eat whatever the hell I want for dinner. Although I didn't do that every day.
Yeah.
There, but that's sort of my let me I'm gonna pull a picture of these nachos at the pepper mill. These things, the pictures don't do them justice, man. They were insanely big. Let me see here. It's kind of a pixelated picture of it, but I can only got about, and I can put some food down. I only got about a third of the way through them.
Oh, wow.
The picture just doesn't do it justice. They were, and of course I got them with the chili.
Yeah. The craziest part is like they're so big, but like the craziest part to me is like they're like, how do they make them keto?
How did they make them keto? That's the $1 million question. I will say this: I was not a good person to be a roommate with that night. Yeah. That's a night to sleep alone.
As long as your wife didn't leave you. And you
Still
don't
together.
violate the Geneva Convention with your biological warfare, I think you're okay.
Chase says, everybody get ready for round 2 at the Arnold. Yeah, we're going to be at the. I need to buy the Arnold tickets.
Yeah,
I know they sold out. I know they sold out fast. Tina, somehow missed Tina. I see Tina at every single bodybuilding event there is. She's at every.
Oh shoot, were you there and we missed you? Or did you?
I think she said she was doing the Angel Fashion Show.
Oh, okay. So, so she didn't make it out.
Yeah.
I was gonna say. There weren't that many people there. It's like, how could I possibly have missed her?
Met a ton of my clients too. That was pretty cool that a bunch of my clients came. I don't know how many people I met. 8, 9 people.
She was there. I'm sorry. I don't know how I missed you.
Well, I mean, there's only like 10,000 people there, so yeah, it's probably more than that. Shit, I know they said the Arnold, there were 100,000 people in attendance at the Arnold.
Across like all the events and everything. Wow.
Yeah, the Arnold might be a bigger event. There's not as much to do in Columbus because it is Columbus.
And February.
In February. I don't know why Arnold decided to have it then. I guess he wanted to test to see who the true fans were. But man, last year actually the weather wasn't bad when we were there.
Oh, but the Vegas weather was so nice.
Yeah,
oh my God. It was so hot.
Oh, it was amazing. It was only like 40 degrees here today.
It was like 100.
It was
hot. It was perfect.
It's a dry heat though. Like in the East Coast, we're used to more, more of a what am I looking for? What's the word?
Humid.
Humidity. Yeah. Can't think of the word humid. Humid. So the dry heat was actually not bad.
Yeah, I loved it.
They said it had cooled off.
It didn't feel like it had cooled off.
Yeah, I was talking to the cab driver, and she was like, "Yeah, it's been cooler this week. It was been over 100 before."
Well, I emailed you a couple of the pictures that I had. I just had a couple of the group.
Let me see if I can find them.
It was funny. So we get there, and I just happened to be walking into the press conference, or the press before. This was Thursday, and I just happened to walk around, and Steve had told me he'd be there, so I was just walking around, kind of looking for the guys. Oh yeah, so we ate at the Eiffel Tower.
Well, Colin didn't because he only brought sandals and booty shorts with
Colin,
him.
I felt so bad. I was like, should we go somewhere else? Like, let's go somewhere that allows sandals. This
in fairness, I did tell Colin to bring some adult clothes and shoes with him, and he did not. He made choices.
I even called the restaurant and I said, one guy with sandals. Can you get us in? They were like,
that's embarrassing.
Just so he's got like a button-up shirt, I guess we could let sandals. He's like, yeah, I don't have a button-up shirt.
Oh shit. I just thought, I mean, I can get fancier. I didn't feel like getting that fancy, but now looking at this picture, I kind of wish I had. Shit, it's quite a view.
Man, and the food was great. I did laugh when we were talking about ordering soufflés, and Steve's like, or they were like, Steve, do you want soufflés? And he's like, yeah, get all of them.
Yeah, we did. We got they offered like 6 flavors, and we got every single one of them, and we passed them around.
That's so awesome.
It's Steve can eat some food.
So we get there, right? And I'm just going around the outside, just kind of looking for everybody. So I get there and I just snapped a quick picture before I said hi to everybody. Right? I hadn't been there yet. So we're standing there. There's Leo, Steve, Chase is there. And this is like when I first saw.
Is that Sam Sulik in front of him?
They're all standing next to Sam Sulik. Yeah.
In the red. Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody was like coming up to Sam trying to take pictures. People were taking pictures with Steve too and Chase. So I get there and then just come say hi to the guys. And again, like I had never met anybody, and even though we all talk and I've done a couple of these everybody's podcasts, I kind of like thought they'd be like, oh hey, yeah, what's up, and then go back to the thing. But they were so gracious, just like opened up, started talking to me, asking me how everything was, and then they were like, well, I'm hungry. Steve's like, hey, I'm hungry. You guys want to get something to eat? Like, yeah, we're hungry too. So we go right out and we're just looking for the nearest place, and Steve is starving. So he goes right into Junior's, right? We ended up going there like 3 times while we were there, but he goes right. I
went there Junior's 3 times too.
Yeah, he goes into Junior's and he's so hungry and he's like almost stumbling in, and he just grabs a bunch of menus and just starts running to a table. Well, and the wait staff was sitting there like, sir, what are you doing? You can't. We need to like take you in there. It's like, oh man, I'm sorry. I'm so hungry. I'm not even thinking straight.
That's what happens when your blood glucose gets low.
Yeah, it was
Steve said in Thailand that you don't they don't seat you. You just go in.
He said no manners when hungry.
I did have a code up for 20% off. I don't know if it's still active or not. It was Olympia. You can try it. If not, just shoot me an email. I'll get you one. I'll just double check and make sure it's still active. Yeah, Steve's funny.
It was so funny.
I think that's what we call hangry.
Yeah.
I get that point too, man. When I get hungry, I'm like, bro, we got to eat now.
Yeah.
It's like, let's not, no debating, like food. We're going somewhere. I did laugh when we went to the taco place that Colin recommended, and Steve was
oh
like,
my God,
no.
Colin.
Okay.
What?
Yeah. What are you gonna say?
So, like, we're all
They
like,
let you in
Colin
with your
recommends
sandals.
this place.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go in with sandals. It's the best place you could go into with sandals.
Look, I never said it was a fucking Michelin star restaurant. I said they've got good fucking tacos.
You said they were the best tacos you've ever eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you eat them or did you leave?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So you don't know.
Yeah, that's true. We don't know. So Colin recommends this place, and everybody's like, "Well, Colin knows food, so we're gonna go there."
Yeah.
And so we go in, and like the menu was like for beef, the choices were cow head, cow guts, like tripe and cow guts, and like it just wasn't in cow tongue.
Lingua.
Yeah. And we're like, okay. And Steve is like, they all go stand in line, and then they're looking at the menu, and then they come back, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to eat here.
In Colin's defense, I had some cow tongue when I was in Mexico, and it's very good.
Yeah, lingua's great. I remember the first time I had tongue, I was working with this Persian dude back when I was doing custom framing, and his wife would always make him a sandwich, and it looked so good. And I was like, what is that? And he's like, it's Tyne. I'm like, Tyne, I'm not familiar. And he's like, my wife will make you one. He brought me in sandwich the next day, and I'm eating. I'm like, this is the best fucking sandwich I've ever eaten. I'm like, what is this again? And he pronounced it a little bit better. And I was like, oh. But, you know, I'd already eaten like half the sandwich. It was pretty fucking good.
Here, oh god, I just totally missed it. Here's Taran. Where did the comment go? I think I deleted it, but Taran Singh said it's
have it saved. Was it this comment?
No. He was saying it's muscle meat. Eat it up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I worked with I think it was my ex-wife worked with this Filipino guy, and his mom would send him meat in the mail. It's hilarious.
That's awesome.
What's up, Kurt?
What's up? Well,
What's
yeah,
up?
I mean, she was probably sending them like biltong or something. That's like cured meat that they slice. It's like their form of jerky.
She was like, "Bro, you eat meat that comes in the mail?" Like, yeah, what's wrong with that?
For the record, I also enjoy fine dining. Okay, I do own a pair of shoes, and I do enjoy fine dining. I'm one of those dudes who is as happy in a 3 Michelin star restaurant, like sucking down foam, as I am getting a cheesesteak from a corner in Philly with cheese whiz. Okay, that's just me though.
Got that diverse palate.
In fairness to Colin, I do love a good hole in the wall restaurant. The ones that look like the sanitation might be questionable, but the food is awesome. I'm with him on that one, but I do like a nice restaurant too.
So I'm glad Kurt's here. So when we're there for a little bit, we're at our booth, right? And we're just kind of sitting down. We had just said hi to everybody, and then I don't know, somebody's like, I'm gonna go use the restroom. Or I think Kurt is like, I'm gonna go use the restroom. I'm like, I gotta go too. I'll go with you. So Kurt and I, we go, and we're just going. You know, there's kind of a little line for the restroom, and we're going in. We come around the corner, and then there's this wall of urinals, right? And a whole bunch of, we run right in front of us. there's some guy with his pants all the way down and his ass just showing, like a little kid. You ever see, the little kids drop their pants all the way to their ankles?
You go full on drop trout.
He's like 270
believe
and
it.
have hair all.
They're like, I was sitting there shocked, and then I just go and I go all the way to the end, and then I look at Kurt behind me, and Kurt's like staring at me with his wide eyes, and he goes, "I know you saw that." Like, oh my god, I couldn't believe what I just saw. Like, why is this guy's ass out? His pants down to his ankles. It was freaking crazy.
Well, this is what happens when you mix autism with Tren.
That was a great comment.
Oh, no.
There's so many weirdos in bodybuilding. I love it.
Josh.
I remember my son used to do that, and I'm like, dude, you gotta stop, man. You can't do that.
Yeah.
I'll still do that sometimes in the crib, just it's comfortable. just going full on drop trout. I just got to be careful with 5 cats.
Steve said that happened to him at the Cheesecake Factory in Orlando after the O last year. Probably the same dude.
Yeah, probably the same guy.
That's awesome.
I didn't know adult men did that, but I guess
his dad obviously never corrected him.
Hey, when you're past 3 years old, we don't do that anymore.
Oh my god.
Oh man, that is hilarious. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever seen another adult man do that before.
I have never either.
On par with that, I see like guys will come into my office that get TRT, like the nurse will administer, and there's one guy that clearly doesn't shower and doesn't change anything because he's got the Band-Aid on from the prior week. So he peels the old Band-Aid off and gives me a new one.
Oh my god, he doesn't make enough money.
That's hilarious, man.
Sounds like your average IT worker.
Colin and I spent many years in IT, showering and putting on adult clothes was optional.
I used to wear sandals to the office.
Yeah, I can see that.
I wasn't supposed to.
I mean, I think I dressed like a professional, but I remember managing these guys coming in, like when I first started working, and like dudes are literally wearing their pajamas to work, and I'm
dressing like they're in high school still, like middle school, like.
And so I'm like, wow, we need a dress code. So we bought shirts, and they would come in with the pajama bottoms and the shirts on. And they clearly weren't ironed or anything. They're all wrinkled up. And I'm like, all right, I guess we need to be more elaborate.
Yeah.
Elaborate a little more on the dress code. Bodybuilders are sort of the same.
Yeah.
I never realized that bodybuilders and IT guys are sort of cut from the same mold. I guess it's the same brand of autism that attracts both.
It's the ability to like hyperfixate.
Yeah.
And like it's like what you put something in, you can expect a certain result out. You know, it's the same with bodybuilding, IT work, like jujitsu. You know, those sorts of things, they excel.
Yeah. My best patients that do the best for themselves are the IT guys. I have a lot of IT guys, and it like you said, it's that ability to problem solve.
Yeah.
We need to have Scott on sometime.
Yeah.
Scott, you should jump on with us.
Oh yeah. Hey, what's up, Scott?
What's up, bud?
Yeah, the body. I think the ability to hyperfixate probably is a superpower, and
having like they also tend to have like an affinity for the logical and the analytical, you know, like left brain thinking.
Right. Like troubleshooting, right? Like
exactly.
Yeah, and that's exactly how you handle TRT. It's troubleshooting, right? And IT guys are really good at that. My best patients are IT guys.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a former IT guy. I'm a retired IT guy, full-time gym bro now.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if I qualify as an IT guy. I was the most non-Aspergery person in the company.
Wow. You need both. You know, they what they lack in, or what they have in their analytical and logical minds. They lack in their intuitive minds oftentimes, and you need someone like Paul around to offer the common sense that seems to be sadly lacking in these otherwise insanely intelligent individuals.
Although my daughter makes fun of me, like I'll get hyperfixated on shit sometimes, and she'll be like, "Dad, you got the tism going." It's like, bro,
he's a people person. Why can't these people understand that?
I've been obsessed with Roman history lately. That's been my latest thing. I should probably focus more on bodybuilding stuff, but like I've been like reading a ton about Roman history, and I'll bring it up, and my daughter just goes, "Dad." And get the tism under control.
That's funny.
Oh man, I just Scott, I sent you an invite if you want to jump on, and we'll get Scott on. Scott does some good interviews, by the way. If you guys don't follow him, the Scott Miz Show. Scott has some awesome interviews. I don't know how he's not more popular than he is.
He's a really good interviewer. He asks great questions, like really,
Scott's really great,
insightful questions.
Favorite Roman Aqueduct. That's hilarious. There's actually what is the one that's still working in Rome that feeds some of the fountains and stuff. That's pretty cool.
The Pantheon still stands and it holds a almost 2,000-year record for being the largest non-reinforced concrete dome in the world. That's something.
Really is amazing.
I think the Aqua Virgo, if I remember right, this is what a nerd I am, is still in use and feeds the Trevi Fountain.
Parthenon, whatever.
Pantheon.
Yeah, it is Pantheon, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Pantheon.
Parthenon's in Greece,
Greece,
right?
Yes.
Get your head out of your ass, Joshua. Just kidding.
Was Josh trolling you?
I don't know. He can claim he was.
Yesterday in surgery, my boss said something that was he said it was a filet à deux. I'm like, you mean filet à deux? Like, it is not filet à deux. It's not a cut of meat.
Well,
It's
during
filet.
surgery.
There's
Like
Scott.
filet à deux.
What's up, Scott?
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, Scott?
Thanks
We
for
had
the
an extra
kind
room
words.
on the
It's
panel
made my
today.
day.
You had to fill the last square.
Balances us out.
Yeah.
Rome had their dogs,
Yeah, we're talking about ancient Rome right now, Scott.
but I gotta love. Give it to the
Very.
Egyptians. They had the cat. Cat love worship.
Talking about the tism.
Autism, yeah, I got a little bit of it. But it was wild at the Olympia seeing everybody.
Yeah.
It was so awesome.
Yeah.
Really watching. I mean, I was just kind of standing back and watching you guys all at the booth, and just to see the interaction and be there to take pictures of, of you guys with people was so cool. The best part was like you'd see somebody like walking up and kind of like standing back and looking, and then like, come on up, like come get a picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was great. The one thing I will say about the convention center there, sorry, Paul, was that I was so impressed. Ladies' rooms tend to get pretty trashed at events like this or like sporting events. It was spotless. Like they kept those restrooms so clean and so stocked. Like I never went in and like they were always clean. I don't know how they did it with that many people there, and the trash cans were never overflowing. I mean, the convention center itself, I was very impressed with how they managed the crowd and managed everything. It was pretty impressive.
You clearly weren't in the men's room. There was
That's how they managed
the floor.
Yeah,
They
and that's
diverted everyone over to the women's room, apparently.
I guess because the ladies' rooms were very well maintained. I was and I never had to wait in line. I mean, also it was odd. I mean, there was a good balance of men and women there. It was a very positive expo experience from that standpoint.
I think there were only 20 women there, and 19 of them were on diuretics and weren't drinking anything, so they probably weren't.
There you go. Yeah, maybe that's why.
When I went into the men's room, there was just like a sea of piss on the floor. I'm like, man, how can guys miss so badly? Although I'm pretty bad. Am I the?
You got to drop your pants all the way down so you can get.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
You got to feel the wind.
Yeah.
The wind on your throat.
The shape of you rest your testicle on the actual lip of the words on that you can't miss.
He's actually ahead of his time. That guy.
I remember Colin, Colin's did some stand-up comedy. You had your thing about echolocation and peeing at night. I'm guilty of that. How many of you don't turn the light on in the bathroom at night and just go by sound? I'm like, oh, that's the wall.
Echolocation. I would like to see that, Colin. I want to see your stand-up.
I didn't. I mean, I have some of it recorded, but I was an open micer. I never even like became a feature act. Like, I did it for a few years, but then COVID happened, and I have so many animals at home. It was really rough working a full day, driving into DC, waiting hours to get your 3 to 5 minute spot, and then driving back home, and your animals are waiting for you the whole time. So I had.
How's the comedy scene in DC?
It's fucking awesome. DC has one of the. It's probably like one of the 3 best in the country. You got New York, DC, LA. I mean, you have legends like Chappelle came out of DC.
Wow.
There's a big scene in Austin these days with Joe Rogan's Comedy Mothership there.
Yeah.
Any big city that has an improv, technically has a decent comedy scene, but nothing like DC, LA, New York. Those are the meccas.
It's hilarious because Chappelle, before he got famous, he used to be the MC at the Improv in DC. You'd go there and you'd see him like introducing acts and stuff all the time.
In high school.
Huh.
Yeah, he was in high school.
My wife's cousin is Jay Moore, the comedian.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
He's so funny.
He was just a writer on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And some people didn't show up once, and they were like, "You're really funny. Why don't you go on stage?"
Spectacular.
That's really interesting.
I saw Chappelle perform at a Holiday Inn when there was like 12 other people there.
Wow.
In the comedy bar at a Holiday Inn.
Crazy.
Back in the 90s. Yeah. Now you pay $1,000 a seat to see him.
Yep.
Yeah. Did he have a good set back then?
He's always been funny.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of time before, there's a lot. I think some of it's just luck, Some guys just are in the right place at the right time.
I mean, there's all sorts of, you see some people make it that you're like, why? And then you see other people don't make it and you're like, that's a travesty. Like some of the funniest people I know, they just send their jokes out to the ether. Maybe they got like 2,000 followers. It's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Stavros and Nick, they're out of like Baltimore. Actually, I think Nick grew up close to where I lived in Maryland, but it's a very funny area. The DMV.
Martin Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Comedy Cellar
on
here.
Lewis Black is another.
The Comedy Cellar here in New York is fun, but you get like half an airplane seat worth of room. It's like so small.
That's crazy because New York, I mean, generally known for being spacious.
Yeah, of course.
No, I would love to go to the Cellar. It's legendary. Success is a combo of luck, opportunity, confidence, and skill. Sure, that's accurate.
I think that's accurate. I don't know where my successes come from. I lack all of them. My middling.
Throw timing in there. Timing is key for success also.
Timing is key. I am persistent. I am stubborn. I don't give up at things. Man, my social anxiety was definitely put to test at the Olympia. That's for sure. There was a 3 or 4 hour stretch on Saturday where it was just nonstop people shaking hands and talking to people, and I had to load up on extra Nebivolol that morning to keep myself from having a fucking panic attack.
Yeah.
Was there a plague this year?
What's that?
Was there the Olympia plague this year where everyone gets sick?
Nope.
I don't know. I've had a little bit of a cold. I think Colton was sick.
Yeah, Colton got sick. I shockingly didn't get sick.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I
Justin's
remember
daughter was
last
sick.
year and the year before, everyone got like this deathly illness.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 2 years ago in Vegas, everybody was like so sick after the Olympia.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, there's a lot of people around and everybody's walking around. It's kind of like a stew.
Yeah.
Guys peeing with their pants down around. Probably not washing their hands and then shaking your hand afterwards.
Walking around in sandals.
Chase is not sick. I mean, Chase is on so many.
He can't get sick.
Like any virus that would enter your body would get immediately nuked by all the drugs.
Yeah.
Chase's only his biceps are sick.
One of the 20 peptides.
That was a good one,
thanks, brother.
Colin.
Appreciate you.
Only Chase's biceps are sick. That was a good one.
What's
Steve
up,
Steve got bigger and Chase got ripped since the last time I saw both of them.
Yeah, they look fantastic.
Accurate. I'm looking forward. Chase brought a videographer with him to the Olympia. I'm looking forward to some of the footage he recorded and edited and put up.
Yeah, me too. Kurt, you're a big boy too. That's impressive. You're really muscular. You don't see it when you see him in person, it's impressive.
This is a double XL.
Yeah.
Kurt hides his size under the sweater usually.
Not a showy person.
He's a sleeper build, like a Subaru WRX.
Well, you don't get a lot of if you walk around school looking like the assumption is that you're really dumb if you're really muscular.
Yeah.
I was on the opposite plan. I was the take no hormones and not train and eat McDonald's 3 times a day going into the Olympia. I was not prepared. Everybody else was treating it like they're pre-contest, going into the Olympia, getting in shape.
Yeah, when you're filling out those North Face fleeces and you still look big in those, you're doing something right.
What were you going to say, Scott?
How do you guys know Joel Hansen, the model versus food guy?
That's right.
He's so nice.
He's such a nice guy.
He's Chase's buddy. Him and Chase are friends.
Oh, cool.
He's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah.
He's such a nice guy.
We brought Joel to dinner with us, so if there was leftovers, joking.
Oh my God. So I to that Eiffel Tower, or when we went to the Eiffel Tower restaurant, I invited him there and he was like, well, I have a dinner planned earlier, but what time's your dinner? Maybe I could come to your dinner too. And at first I'm thinking, how is somebody going to go to 2 dinners? And then we watched one of his videos. They're like, oh yeah, this guy could definitely handle 2 dinners. He eats this insane amount of food. It's absolutely crazy.
I don't think he's ever lost an eating challenge.
Yeah.
I've got questions for him. How does he stay so lean?
Yeah, he's really he's in shape and he's not fat at all.
Yeah. I didn't know that he was in ate for a living. So when he said he was coming to Denver in a couple weeks, I said, "Oh, what for?" He said, "For work." And I was just like, "Oh, great." I was thinking he was just for normal work. And then once I learned that, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, well, he must be coming to Denver to eat something epic." Yeah. So I'm very interested now to see what this epic eating adventure he's going to do in Denver. Yeah. There's got to be something here that, food challengers come to eat. Yeah. Guess I'll find out.
Yeah, Datnip says he saw some of the pictures and didn't realize how tall Amy was.
She's really tall. She's really tall.
I am tall.
She is.
I don't. Yeah, it's not. I don't make that up. I am tall.
She's wearing heels. She's taller than me, which is absolutely unacceptable.
I'm taller than most people when I wear
flats
heels.
only from now on, Amy.
The first night I stood at the bar between you and Paul.
Oh my God!
I was up to your waist. I
love that
right here for this one.
I love that picture you posted, Amy, when you were like, when their biceps are bigger than your waist.
Yes. I'm standing next to Aaron and Steve and like, oh my gosh, seriously, I'm pretty sure Aaron's biceps are bigger than my waist. I wouldn't
Aaron's
doubt
a big
it for
boy.
a second.
Yeah. Aaron's like a large individual.
So big. And he's on prep. He's getting ready for a show in a month,
oh my God. It was so funny. He's sitting around us at every restaurant we go to and he's just watching us eat whatever we want. And he's killing him. It's just killing him. He's got a show in 2 weeks.
Brutal.
I mean, he looks great. He might have had a couple bites.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, Amy doesn't have any problem at the grocery store.
I read everything at the top. I'm like, there are cabinets in my house that I've literally never used the low ones because I just don't even think about them. I put everything up on the really high ones. I opened one the other day looking for something. I'm like, I've never used this cabinet. There's literally nothing in it. It's one of the bottom ones. I'm like, everything is high. And when I went, when I'm in prep and I'm wearing my show heels in my house, I'm like, oh my gosh, I put them onto like dust stuff that I don't use, like the top of the refrigerator, because I can like look at it at eye level.
Now I'm imagining Amy in like stilettos in her kitchen, just with a feather duster.
Yeah,
Like, I'm just cleaning. This is normal.
Wearing my posing suit. This is what
Everybody does this.
Bikini competitors are weird, Colin. That is actually something I've done. I vacuum with my posing heels on.
That's funny.
I 100% believe you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
See, Catherine knows 100% normal. The things she's had to see.
She would know.
Yes. Yeah. Catherine is my assistant. I mean, I will walk. I mean, I startled the cleaning people in our building one day when I like busted out into the hallway wearing my my show suit, because I had it shipped to the office. Oh yeah,
Josh,
they were surprised.
says, do you have any idea I spend per month to see women clean my house with heels?
There are those companies that have
if this whole
the maid
plastic
services
surgery
for
thing
these.
doesn't work out for you, Amy,
Yeah.
I'm just saying you got other avenues available.
Yeah.
I mean, I do love to clean.
I'm guessing you could vacuum the tops of refrigerators.
Yes.
I'm guessing they're more attractive than my cleaners.
Josh is bidding.
Josh's girlfriend's like, why does she have to wear a bikini and be in heels? He's like, I can't reach the top shelf.
Right. Well, I use
She has to
bleach.
be
I don't want to get my
heels.
clothes bleached, so clearly I have to wear a bikini.
Amy is definitely a giraffe. The first night, I was like, holy shit, you're taller than me in heels. I did not expect you to be that tall. I don't run into many women that are taller than me.
Same. Very rare that I meet women that are taller than me, and when I do, I'm super impressed by it. It's like, whoa, like you're so tall. And the question people always ask me, they assume that I have really big feet because I'm tall, but I don't. And I always say that's why I'm not very graceful, because I wear a size like 8.5, which is a very normal size for a woman. And most people that are my height are wearing like a size 10 or 11. Yeah. I outgrew my feet.
Growth hormone.
Yeah.
Right?
When I went to the
Mine are
Grand
up to
Canyon,
both sizes now in a year.
I'll let you know in a year if the feet have grown.
when I went to the Grand Canyon after the Olympia, there were some girls from a Division I college volleyball team on the bus with me, and they were incredibly tall. They were taller than you, Amy.
Oh yeah.
They were like 6'5" tall.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was the Grand Canyon?
It was freaking awesome, man.
Yeah.
Did you what corner did you go to?
I went to the West Rim, on the Indian reservation, the Hopi Indian reservation. I think that's how you say it. I could be saying it wrong. I apologize.
Do they have? Is that where they have that crazy clear like overlook where you can like? Yes.
There was like a 2-hour wait to go out on that thing, so I didn't go out on it.
Like that. I don't think
That, and I don't like heights.
Yeah, I don't like heights
What's
either.
that?
What time of year did you go?
I just went just now.
Oh, you went after Vegas. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I went after Vegas. I drove out. It was not that bad. A 2.5 hour drive, something like that.
I went there 2 years ago and went from Vegas. It's pretty close. We did a helicopter tour. That was awesome. So cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to do that. The tallest one on my date was 6'7". I needed a ladder to get her in bed. Josh is full of jokes today. So what did you guys think of the results from the Olympia? Any takeaways?
Keon is absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Keon
I thought
is
Mikey
insane.
Badass should have won Classic.
I don't.
I think he was better than Webb. Sorry.
So did a few of the judges.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, I don't know.
It was his farewell competition too. I'm sure that figures into it to some degree.
Seeing Bumstead in person, I understand why he's the champ, because he just is. The presentation is so great.
Yeah, that is true.
Like his posing is flawless. Like if you wanted to look at how to pose, his posing. Not saying taking anything away from Mike. I think Mike has a very good chance of being the next champ. But his posing was flawless. His conditioning was great. Mike definitely had him on some size. How that guy squeezed into Classic, he looked like an open bodybuilder to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's hard for short guys to win Classic in general?
Yeah, I think it's Classic is a tall guys class. I think tall guys are better suited for classic.
Well, it's about that flow. Like, I think you have to be at least a little bit taller to get that kind of like the flow of the body a little bit more. Yeah. Like that it differentiates it from open.
If a shorter guy does have that sort of flow to his physique, then chances are he's not quite big enough.
Yep, exactly.
I think the weight classes are more geared toward the bigger guy. Like I'm 40 pounds over my classic cutoff.
Wow.
So I'm not big enough to be an open. So I'm done with bodybuilding.
I don't know, man. 212. I mean, you may be surprised, Kurt. You know, there's a few guys in the world that are open that are that big, but most at the amateur level. You don't really see many people at the amateur level that are. It's like Justin said, if you're super heavyweight and you're in shape, you're a pro. They just don't exist at the amateur level that are super heavyweights and in shape that aren't pros. You're going to be a pro. That's generally what you see. So the big guys are already pros. The open, I mean, I thought it was closer than when it was, and then I did a recap video yesterday where I looked at the high definition pictures of Samson versus Hottie. Hottie's conditioning was off. Like everybody says you can look at the pictures.
Watching it, we thought it was on.
Yeah, and maybe it just got worse at finals, and then the lighting in the video was so fucking terrible you couldn't tell anything. It was embarrassingly bad. I don't know how they let it be that bad.
The live stream was horrible. It was a joke. Like it
was even worse in person.
Yeah. Is it because I'm old, but was the music way too loud?
They were playing the wrong music. It was too loud. They were calling people the wrong names.
I had lasers shining in my lights. I had to do this like every so often. You know, like I mean, I'm not even kidding.
They need to take a look at the Arnold and whatever happened. Yeah. I mean, because the Arnold, the production quality was high. You could see everybody clearly. The lighting was fantastic. I mean, everything.
The MC's mic kept going out. Like I mean, like it was a comedy of errors in some respects. Not complete failure.
I think they need to think about the timing too. Like Dan Solomon put out that statement saying like we're going to be more consistent with when we tell guys to show up. But I feel like the issue is that it's so late. Like trying to peak a 250-pound bodybuilder at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, look, with how much food they have to eat, they're not going to have tight waists, you know?
I'm going to share. I mean, at night, it's horrible. Peaking at night is horrible, especially that late. I'm going to show a picture from finals and you guys can see if I can find it. If I can bring it up. I
thought some of the women were super impressive too. Missy Truscott and
her coming back from that ACL tear like 10 months.
Yeah, it's insane that she came back. Yeah, so crazy.
So this is finals. I mean, look
he was washed out. His lower back.
Yeah,
lower back. His hamstrings. Look at Samson's hamstrings. Samson's glutes. Hottie's glutes. Like I don't know where people were talking about that Hottie's conditioning was better. I mean, it just
the prejudging he looked like it was better to me.
I would say that. I mean, there was definitely some poses that Hottie won. But I mean, like, I mean, Samson, just the detail here. I mean, neither one of them I thought were super crisp.
What's that on Hottie, the lower glute? That's an injection, isn't it?
That's not bubble.
Right there.
Huh.
It's not.
There's no muscle like that.
Might be a bump. And you could see some of the poses. You could see like, I hate to say it, but look at the shoulders, the SEO on the shoulders. Look at this one.
Yeah.
Sharp.
Yep, definitely a little off.
Pointy.
That right shoulder is looking a little weird. You know, I don't know, but I thought Samson looked great. He's like the balance, and people forget it's not just a conditioning contest. It's size, condition, symmetry, shape. It all matters. And Samson's legs, like Hottie's legs are usually bigger, but look, Samson's legs are bigger.
Incredible. I mean,
Yeah,
just
his
incredible.
legs are bigger. Like Hottie up top is kind of washed out. There's no striations in his vastus medialis. Samson's got striations in his vastus medialis. I don't know. I just after looking at the pics, like it wasn't as close as what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but it was so hard to tell there. I mean, Hottie does have an amazing midsection. That is an area that he dominates.
Yeah,
like you can see here.
Mm-hmm. Especially his, Josh was saying earlier, his side chest really showcases that too.
Mm-hmm.
Although he didn't this year.
And Samson's posing has improved so much from the Arnold. I mean, he got really.
It did, but he needs to fix the side tricep. I don't like that side tricep. He makes himself look small.
Mm-hmm. He needs to twist more.
He needs to twist more. Mm-hmm. And what he's doing I get what they're doing here. This is the old Dorian style one where you kick your leg back to show your calf off. Mm-hmm. But he's ducking down and making himself look smaller.
Tyler said he couldn't even get into it half the time. Even that.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a size issue too. He might not be able to reach his hands behind his back. There's some guys that are so fucking big they can't do that. You know, definitely Hottie beat him on this one, but you know, anyway, I just like anybody who thinks that Hottie beat him, they're getting their emotions wrapped up in things. I mean, it was clear when we were at the Arnold, when Hottie walked out, Hottie was the best. I mean, it was like you were there, Kurt, when he walked out the stage. It was like
I think it's important to point out how much did he weigh on stage?
225, maybe.
I'm sorry, I'm talking about Samson.
Oh, they said he was over 300 on stage this year.
Yo.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Samson, 6 foot.
Oh,
that's a lot of human.
Yeah, someone was saying he's 5'10". I didn't believe that.
What's that?
Someone was saying he's 5'10". I don't believe.
No, I met him.
We seen him.
We saw him. He's probably not 5'10", but
Colin and I met him at the New York Pro, and he is the largest human being I think I've ever seen. Maybe Ronnie Coleman at peak. Ronnie Coleman was comparable, but he is ginormous. The guy is a fucking massive human being, and he's like this gentle giant too. He's like super, you know, kind of quiet, shy, just a kind. It seems to be a kind person.
Do you guys think they need to change the poses for Men's Open? Like, when's the last time the poses changed?
Never. I don't know. They've been like this as long as I can remember. I like the poses.
Like side try, if half the guys can't do it, like, should it be a pose?
They don't allow you. You know, like how in classic they like allow the quarter turn.
Yeah.
Side tricep. You can't do that in bodybuilding. They don't allow it. And that one's a little easier to get into, I find. Where you put your thigh forward and then you get yourself a little bit of twist. You can get your hand behind your back easier. But you're not supposed to do it in bodybuilding. They want the true side triceps. It's weird to me that you can do that in classic, but not in bodybuilding.
You can't. Side try isn't a classic pose.
Oh, you can't? No.
You could do it as your favorite classic, but you can't.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Somebody said, "Oh, by the way, guys, R.I.P. to the greatest uncrowned Mr. Olympia, Big Lenny, the Tom Platz of abs."
All right. I know it's jokes, but
I talk to Big Lenny once in a while. He was a super nice guy.
Yeah.
He would chat with me once in a while. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Do we want to take some questions?
Nah.
Before we take questions, we have to talk about Martin. I mean, I know we.
Oh yeah, Martin.
Oh my goodness, he crushed it for his first Olympia to place top 5.
He really impressed me.
Oh, I
When he
was
walked
so
out, I was like,
impressed.
yeah.
I mean, you could have made an argument that he was better than Derek, I think.
Yes,
Gotcha.
I agree.
Is that the highest someone has placed at their first Olympia?
No, Rich
Dorian
Ascari
got
probably
second.
got second, right?
Dorian got second his first year.
Well, in recent times at least.
Recent times. Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I'm trying to think. Phil Heath, I think. What did he place his first year? I'm trying to think. Usually it takes guys a while. Ronnie was last place for a few years.
Jay was pretty far back.
Yeah, Ronnie was. It's wild to think that Martin. There's that picture of him at North Americans. I think it was 4 years ago, where he was 3rd place, 4th place in the supers at North Americans.
Wow,
the year Nick Walker won.
what a year!
He looks better than Nick Walker now.
Yeah. Well, he's a young guy. I mean, he has an amazing future ahead of him.
And he's on the. He's got room to grow too. I think they said he was only like 220, 225, something like that.
Yeah,
Something
I was
like
very
that, but
impressed. I was also super impressed with John Jewett. He really came in looking very good.
I think he got robbed. I think he should have been a place or 2 higher.
Yeah, I think he should have been the top 10. John is definitely a guy that has used his brain and work ethic to maximize. I mean, I think he's gotten probably the absolute most out of his genetics that you could possibly get.
Yeah.
That's what is amazing with John. And the thing, like, it's like funny with Samson. Like, I still don't even think he's at his best.
Well, this
Like,
is his
that
first year doing open, so I mean, he again has room to progress and grow for sure.
Oh yeah, I was talking about Samson. How I don't think.
Oh, you were talking about Samson. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think he's at his best. Like that dude has still got. I mean, he came in bigger and leaner at the Olympia than he did at the Arnold.
Wasn't there a rumor that he had only done Tren like this year? He only started.
Yeah, there was. That's what Milos said last year, that he had to talk him into taking Tren, that he didn't want to take it. He was scared to take it.
See, I would have thought it was like 150 test and 400 master on. 1.6 units of GH.
Microdosed.
I just love the little measurements of the GH, like as if the decimal point matters. I think you're like, you gotta push a little back in the bottle. That's too much. The 1.8 will kill you.
Yeah, and now it's 8:03 a.m. now, so you're 3 minutes too late on that injection too. So.
Yeah. I get
not optimal.
Not trying to pick on any of my clients, but I'll get guys that'll come to me. They'll start and they're like, "Man, I'm thinking about moving my test from 150 up to 170. Do you think that's okay?" And I'm like, "Dude,
300, 600, 900.
You're not even going to notice like
Yeah.
Like I don't even know that the margin of error and how it's dosed is accurate enough that you can even.
It's not.
Try to,
It's not. You lose 20% in heat when it's made. Like it's not. What are you even measuring?
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, it loses potency during the creation process, during the shipping process. Like light can probably affect it.
20 milligrams is going to leak out when you put it in.
You leave it in the that's left in the tip. When anything under 300 is not even super physiological, you ain't getting shit out of that. That's not a test that's causing any growth there.
It's TRT.
Sorry, not sorry.
This is my favorite version of Kurt. Sorry, not sorry.
Kurt's not shy with the doses.
I had a question for you, Amy. I don't know how much you know about wellness, but could you tell why Issa won? Like, I feel like Francielle has been so dominant. It was surprising. Like, she looked great, but
yeah. I mean, they both looked incredible. Those the wellness women are unbelievable. I mean, they don't even look human.
Yeah.
They are like a whole other breed of person. Yeah, I think it was really close. The balance of the just kind of the S curve was what I noticed the most. A little bit of posing differences, I think, is really what it came down to, because I feel like it could have gone either way. Like I don't see a strong argument in either direction. little bit more conditioning in the gluten leg, and that ham tie-in was a little bit crisper. And the way the posing, I feel like was a bigger part of it. Just, you know, Issa's waist is so tiny when she poses. I think that maybe that to me, honestly, like, to be like super nitpicky, like that's all I could really look at. I'm like, how did they decide? I mean, they were so close. And I don't follow wellness enough to know a lot about the other competitors in the lineup, but Bikini for sure. I have thoughts about that one. I was surprised they didn't give it to Ashley. I was really surprised. I thought that they would give it to Ashley purely for the reason that it would be her 50th pro win at the 60th Olympia. And I do feel like she looked better than I had seen her look before, specifically with her posing. She had that eye surgery at the very beginning of this year. And I feel like it's helped her not look so spacey on stage. Like, she looks a lot more connected to the audience, which for me watching it makes me feel a lot more comfortable watching her. But Laura Lee, I mean, she has that like just beautiful kind of like more waifish figure. And I was surprised that they went with that. I was really bummed that Amy Delgado, just the second she walked out on stage, you could just tell that something was a little bit off with everything about her. Like, she didn't even walk out with a very super confident walk. And then she looked very, very, I don't know, watery or just washed out in her legs, which was really disappointing because that's usually such a strong point for her. I mean, seeing her and Laura Lee next to each other at the Arnold, and then to see her place fourth and just not look her best. I mean, I thought fourth was kind of a gift. I think there were other people that they could have placed ahead of her, which again really bummed me out. Seeing Jazzy come in third was unbelievable. She looked incredible, and just super excited to see her grow, because when you look at them all in the lineup, I mean, you can see how much potential Jazz has to come up. She's definitely a lot smaller than Ashley and Laura Lee, but she has so much potential to come up in that category, and just a really beautiful physique. I think she's going to be some really serious competition for Laura Lee moving forward. But Laura Lee is going to make a great, Bikini Olympia. I mean, she loves the sport. She loves to work out hard, which I love, and she is just gorgeous. I mean, just beautiful. Yeah.
Getting the dry legs for women has got to be incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
There's definitely got to be some chemical manipulation going on there.
Yeah,
look.
There are some coaches out there who really push AIs on bikini competitors to try to like really drop their estrogen and crisp things up a bit, but it's still a challenge. I mean, I actually feel I've been watching more wellness competitors, Scott, in my off season as I'm going to my off season, because I feel like I have such huge legs, and I look at them and I'm like, but look at their legs. They're incredible. But how they get that level of conditioning on their legs while keeping the rest of their body looking so like very feminine and soft is so amazing. Like, I don't know what magical combination of genetics and drugs get them there, but it is unbelievable.
I like that magical combination of genetics and drugs.
Takes a little bit of both.
There's definitely both going on.
The yin and the yang.
Did you guys see this picture of Samson, his 6-year progress that I posted on?
Incredible.
Yes, it doesn't even look like the same person.
Crazy.
It's unreal.
6 years.
The left,
Can you say lats?
the before looks photoshopped.
Yeah.
Right.
Look at his
crazy.
lats on the before.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know they always said that back was a weakness for him.
I think that's not. I mean, clearly not because he can't grow one. Obviously, like he was probably just.
Not
I
training
bet somebody.
properly.
Yeah, I bet somebody fixed his form.
Yeah, that's a training issue.
Yeah, he is just incredible. What an incredible physique.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I agree, Josh. Same.
Samson's my favorite natural bodybuilder. It was funny. I posted this up. There was one idiot in the comment section. I couldn't tell if he was trolling.
I saw
think
that.
he was serious. It's like, is this natural? And everybody just like piled on the dude. I'm like, what?
That's a troll.
Yes.
It's a good troll, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes the most effective trolls are the simplest.
Sometimes you don't know. There are some pretty dumb people out there.
Well, it depends. Was he present in the comments after he made that statement?
No. He's a clever troll.
He just tossed a grenade.
Chase dropped a video about that. They said, did you see Chase's video last night about Samson's sup coach they fired and gave him no credit for the protocol?
I heard about that.
Yeah, I know about it. I didn't want to touch it with the 10-foot pole because I didn't want to get into the drama, but yeah.
I heard about it, and we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Good one. Yeah, there was a guy that was a little disappointed. And I understand why. Okay, we want to take some questions.
Yeah, let's start with this gentleman who paid a currency. I guess this. What is this? The Norwegian one, kroner or something?
Kroner.
I don't know. That's my guess based on his name. Jens.
Oh, yeah.
When you've got the O with a line through it, I'm gonna just make an assumption you're from one of them Ya countries. How many times to pin test and anthate 500 milligrams?
Every day, 500.
I knew that was coming.
If you're not a high aromatizer, you can do it twice a week. I'm gonna really separate myself from the bullshit with the microdosing crap. I've had enough of it. So we're gonna play with the esters the way they were designed. If you're not a high aromatizer, do it twice a week.
Yeah.
That's the way it's designed. That's the way it's worked for 70 years until the last 2 years, and Victor Black made up some shit. Don't do that. Don't use an insulin needle either for steroids, please. Use a big boy needle.
Okay. All right. Well, there's your answer from the man himself, Jens. Thank you for your question.
And use your glute.
What'd you say?
And use your butt, please. It's better.
I have trouble with glute shots. Like I can't.
Well, you got big shoulders. Most of these guys don't have shoulders your size.
I have to set it on my sink counter, and then I kind of like back into it.
On it?
well, no, I mean, I set the needle on that. No, I don't say that.
You go
Are
full
you
trowel?
serious,
You
Ryan?
drop full trowel when you do that too, Ryan?
Yeah, well, not straight up, like sideways, right? And then I just kind of like back my glute into it.
So what music are
What
you
else
playing
do
when
you
you're
keep
jacking
on
it
the
up?
counter to back into, right?
That sounded worse than it actually is.
He's a big fine bodybuilder when you back that thing up.
That was a good one, Colin. I don't know what's up with my glutes. I don't know if my glutes are just super vascular, but like every time I try to do a glute injection, I have a gusher of blood afterwards, man. It's like spray painting the walls. It doesn't matter where I hit it, man.
If you get a light, and you can actually see the veins to miss them. So like I get a light, and then you so you can start to see your veins and you can miss them. That's what I have to do too.
Wait, how does that work with you backing into it, right?
Well,
Like a series of mirrors?
I can see it
Ryan.
like this in the mirror. I look at it in the mirror.
He does
I
it
have to go
in
back to this
a
though.
fun
Ryan,
house
like,
house with mirror.
how do you do the plunger? Like, so if you're having to back into it because you can't reach around and inject it, then how
Could
do you
you
get the plunger?
demonstrate?
It's like one of those dildos with the suction cup. I don't watch those videos.
Oh, so it's a
I'm
pressure. So
hypothetical.
you back into it and then back into the wall.
Yeah.
And then you could just
Even
I'm gonna right now
find a red
volunteer.
light
If
vein
anybody needs me
finder.
to come do their TRT injections for them, I'm
We
more than
use
happy.
it for children to set IVs because you can't see kids' veins.
Shine the light on it. Yeah.
Yeah, because kids, especially if they have fatty fat on, you can't see anything.
Yeah.
I went to
favorite
red
spot
light
is
district
lax.
looking to buy one of those red light vein finders. I couldn't find one anywhere.
I always love when
Colin, I'll send you a medical supply place.
I'm gonna just take another look at the red light district. It's got to be
Okay,
it's got to
wrong-
be there
wrong-
somewhere.
wrong.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I always love
Keep
when I
looking
go
till
to
you find it.
I'm just I'm nothing if not tenacious, Amy.
I always love when I go to get blood draws done, and the ladies that do the phlebotomy, they're all excited by my veins.
I love it.
They're like, "Oh my god, you got such good veins!" And then I have that one that runs up your forearm. I like on my one side, I have it's double, it's two, and they
You got to be careful with that. You got to be careful with that. I've had a hematoma before from them trying to go through the double.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's they get all excited about that one. I'm like, I tell them to do the other arm because I've had the same issue. I've had them roll the vein and it's not good. But yeah, I have big veins. All right, what do we got up next for the next question?
Oh man, yeah, no comment. All right, the bull is going for gyno surgery. Will be at 300 test and 2 IU/GH, which is. What do you think of that? Of those doses, Kurt? Is that enough?
So 2 IUs of growth hormone is like what you produce at the age of 35. So if you weren't a ripped monster at 35, 2IUs is not going to do anything. For reference, my wife uses 3 units of Serestim a day.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think he's talking about this for recovery from
no,
the
but I
surgery.
mean, it's not necessarily going to do anything for recovery, because unless you have phenomenal recovery when
gotcha.
you're 35 years old, what does it do? This is the problem. So 4 to 6 is what a teenager produces, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything after that, over 6, is really considered super physiological. For growth, it requires 6 milligrams or 18 units for permanent new tissue growth. That's known. The 5IU thing for growth, hyperplasia, that was made up. There's no study to ever show that's ever occurred.
Mm-hmm.
I would say for recovery, I mean, where are you, Paul? I mean, 8 to 10 plus.
Right now I'm running a whole bottle every day.
Yeah, I run a bottle of Serestim a day. I'm just saying for recovery, you got to be 8 to 10 at least.
Yeah. Usually half.
There's
I'll
just
run
no,
half a
I
bottle.
don't like. I feel like there's more bro bullshit with growth hormone than anything else, and everyone's afraid to use the right amount of it.
Mm-hmm.
Generics are pretty cheap. If you're using generics, you should really not be struggling to, and I'm not judging anyone's financial situation, but like, if a box is $100, like, you're probably in the wrong game then if you can't swing generics.
Mm-hmm.
He also was wondering if he should add BPC 157 and TB 500 to his recovery protocol.
You could. I think if the growth hormone's high enough, I'm not sure the other stuff matters.
Okay.
Okay,
that's a really complete question. Thank you for that.
That's sort of been my take, like everybody. I
haven't do much.
I've always wondered if they do much. I think it did help with my ACL recovery, or maybe it was just the GH.
Well, those things all came from a couple years ago when they changed the dose, when they changed the regulatory stuff on growth hormone. Doctors needed to figure out other things they could prescribe for HRT. And so then all these companies started making all these obscure peptides. And then doctors started pushing them because they couldn't push growth hormone anymore. So they were like heavily pushed, right? And doctors would be like, oh no, it's better than growth hormone. It's just this fragment and it just does this and it doesn't have. At the end of the day, if you ask any doctor now that actually knows what they're talking about, they'll be like, no, growth hormone was the way. If BPC actually did something, 1, it would be a pharmaceutical drug. And 2, we would use it in wasting diseases. I've never seen it used in cancer. I've never seen it used in AIDS. It's, if you follow what's medically used for these things or what's used in animals, the best drugs are still used for a reason, right? They're not like gray market stuff like SARMs.
I remember my orthopedic, when I went in, I was recovered from my ACL in like 7 months. And him giving me a lecture, he's like, are you doing something illicit? And I'm like, yeah, man. and then he was like, he started giving me this lecture about it. And I'm like, dude, just shut the fuck up. He was telling me about how like anabolics cause more muscle tears, and I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Show me one study that says that.
Winstrol might cause some sort of muscle damage, but it's not. It's a little different than that. But outside of that, no, they would do the opposite. Yeah. They wouldn't cause muscle damage. How would that work?
What did this doctor look like, Paul?
He was fat.
He was fat. I'm not listening to a fat doctor in a bow tie tell me what fucking hormones I should and shouldn't take. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I told him I came here for treatment, not for a lecture. Just do your job, man. Just shut your fucking mouth. Man. I don't want to hear it. Seriously. Do you give the same lecture to the fatso that comes in that's 300 pounds and needs a hip replacement?
Swigging alcohol and smoking cigarettes. That's chill.
Just mind your own fucking business and do your job. This is why I need to make a video about it, but why bodybuilders hate and distrust doctors. It's
a very good topic for a video.
Yeah.
See, it's really a shame because I think most people get that like distant thing from doctors. When you work with them, I don't know, Amy, what's your experience? Every doctor that I deal with directly is on at least TRT. A lot of them use growth hormone and a lot of them use other gear. And they're very open about it with me. It's just funny, I guess, when they see people that they don't know, they're very like.
I think it's CYA. I think it's the system that's built. They probably don't want the liability associated with it. They probably don't want to get sued. Somebody come back and, has a heart attack or a stroke and says that, well, you gave me this and it's your fault. And there's a stigma with the drugs too.
Yeah. Huge.
Well, there's just, it's different now, but Kurt, going back to that about with physicians, I mean, there just was not a level of education around any of these things. I mean, look at what is done with women's health and women's hormone function. I mean, they just don't know. They aren't taught it, so they become afraid of it. I mean, even like a somewhat educated doctor is still like, the 150 milligrams maybe every other week for a guy who has, a testosterone of 30. It's very backwards, but I think it does have somewhat to do with just like what is standard of care, what can you CYA yourself on, and then like just not wanting to get involved in it in general.
And they're still not taught in regular medical school. You're given like these blue books of every subject, and you just have to pass each class. In the endocrinology one, like they literally just mention testosterone. They talk about it as a hormone, in its function in the body, but they don't. Any part that mentions steroid use, they demonize it. Like guys are coming out of, if you're a general practitioner who come out of medical school, you were taught to demonize it.
Well, they still call testosterone a male hormone, which is so ridiculous. I mean, women produce more testosterone on a daily basis than they do estrogen because they cannot store testosterone. They can store estrogen. It's crazy. It's insane.
To genderize the hormones is just ridiculous.
So
men need estrogen, women need testosterone.
All right, what's up next?
I got to head to the gym. Thanks for having me on this.
Good to see you,
Scott.
Okay, man.
Right.
As always, as per capitalistic protocol, we let the guys who pay go first. Flair, hey Kurt, have you seen cases of kidney echogenicity from using HGH?
That's a big word.
I see making up words, Kurt.
No, I have a prescription for growth hormone because I have unilateral renal agenesis, so it actually improves kidney function. Doesn't make it worse.
There you go.
My EGFR is now a 90.
That's great.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's nice.
All right. Let's see here. We have Dom. Has anyone tried Justin's new ATP product? Have you had a chance to try that yet, Paul? No.
No, I need to tell him to send me some.
Yeah.
We'll
let you know
I
next
didn't know it was
week,
out
Dom.
yet.
I tried its fat burner. That was good.
Awesome.
His fat burner is like too fucking strong, man. I can't take it.
I took it before I got on the plane. I had to wake up at 4:30 to leave Vegas. I think it's the only reason why I made my plane.
Oh, yeah.
The Yohimbine makes me feel sick. What do we got up next for questions?
Sorry, my bad, dog. I'm multitasking. All right. We got Christopher Chorley. Chase already answered this in chat, but I figured give you guys a shot too. How long can you run a low dose of an AI in a cycle?
They use them medically for 5 years at a clip, and then they revisit it and maybe change AIs, but there's no time, right? Use it as needed. For estrogens out of range, use it. They're not toxic. A lot of those things that even doctors cite for, cardiotoxicity and stuff, those are made up. There's no studies in PubMed to show that there are these issues. It's low estrogen can cause issues.
Low estrogen is the problem.
That's what I was going to say. Is the low estrogen caused by using too much.
Side effects from those drugs, just like anything else, but they're not. They're like one-off things.
Yeah,
that's another thing we got to get rid of is the demonizing of all this stuff.
I will say this: when I run letrozole, I feel like a dog turd run over.
Well, letrozole's really strong.
What did I remember reading a study somewhere. I'm probably completely butchering this, but it was like 2.5 milligram dose of letrozole would reduce estradiol by something like, or maybe it was aromatase by like 97%.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And Arimidex in a man is 83. It's almost 100% in a woman. So it's more effective in a woman than it is in a man.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like letrozole definitely works.
And it reduces progesterone too. So you probably feel even more awful.
I like to use it a couple days out from a show, man. It just really dries me out. And I feel like dog
shit. Get rid of Gyno really fast too.
Yeah, man.
You take one 2.5 milligram one, it'll get rid of it.
Yeah, I like 20 milligrams of tamoxifen and 2.5 of letro, and you can dry up Gyno if you catch it early in like a week. All right, what do we got next?
Just a quick one from Tarun. What's the best protocol for fat loss? What's your stack?
I'm gonna be a smart ass, and this is what I always tell people: a fucking calorie deficit.
Yeah, cardio.
Net negative energy balance. I don't know how you guys do diets, but I like to just try to get some cheap fat loss first when I'm dieting people down, and I don't put any fat burners in place. I just try to, aim for that 1% of body weight loss per week. And then once we get below that, then I'll pull calories down a little bit, and then I'll start layering in some fat burners here and there. But I usually just start off with a calorie deficit and cardio.
What? And this is like a misconception too. So steroids will burn fat, right? If interact with the AR and other genes. But that being said, that's not the primary use of steroids, right? Women will take Anavar thinking it's for fat loss, and the scale goes up. Anabolic steroids are to put tissue on, not the opposite. So like people shouldn't be so willing to just leverage drugs for fat loss. Eat better, do cardio. You can eat like total dog shit and take all the gear in the world. You're not going to be lean.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I mean, if you look at like what is how much of a benefit do you get from, like, if you're running 100 micrograms of Clem, what do you get, like a 10% boost in metabolism? Maybe?
Yeah, less than that. And honestly, the beta-3 stimulation tapers off after 40 micrograms. Anything after 40 micrograms of Clem is beta-2, which those down-regulate. That's why if you took 200 micrograms of Clem and you feel really hyper, that hyperactivity is from the beta-2 stimulation. That's why after a day or two, that's gone. It's really overkill because honestly, 40 micrograms is just going to hit the beta-3, and those don't downregulate. You don't really need to like bombard yourself with Clem.
I don't think I went over 80 on my whole prep.
Yeah, guys do it because they like the way it feels when you take a boatload of it, but you're not necessarily getting. It's not like a dose dependent thing that you get more out of more of a dose.
Yeah, I think I maxed out at 80. I didn't run any T3. People ask me about T3 all the time because T3 is just as good at melting muscle as it is fat. I mean, there are some people that are deficient and need it, but that's very uncommon in men generally. And then I do like a little bit of ephedrine, just because I feel good on it.
Ephedrine, most of the fat loss from ephedrine is from appetite suppression.
Yeah.
Right? You take ECA stack and you're not hungry.
It
goes back to calorie deficit again. How much is it burning? It's adding like 2 or 3% to your calorie burn.
Yeah, Josh is a nurse, right? He said 3 to 4% max. So like you can do the math on it. Let's just do a nice even number. Let's say 5. We'll be generous, and you have a 2,500 or let's say 3,000 calorie BMR. You're talking about 150 calories a day.
It's half a can of soda.
Yeah, or a third of one of Amy's chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you could sniff one and it's more calories than that.
Somehow I ate 59 of them and didn't gain 1 pound. I don't know how it's possible.
It's because my cookies are magic. But it's one other thing I would add into the best fat loss protocol, though, is making sure that the quality of the food you're intaking in a fat loss phase is high, because you're going to have much greater satiation. I mean, that's, as much as people don't want to believe that, eating frankenfoods when you're trying to cut is a mistake you'll probably only make once. Don't try to artificially fill your diet with like fake fibers and konjac noodles and like voluminous foods that aren't adding nutrition, because you'll ultimately end up seeking that feeling of fullness from the overconsumption of like these fake foods, but you won't be satiated because you're getting not a lot of nutrient out of them. So it's a good time to really make sure that you're eating a really clean diet or really quality diet.
Are you saying I shouldn't put G Hughes on my sugar-free Jell-O?
Right? Yeah.
Another trend from like
maybe
some of these like random fitness influencers have a ton of influence, and I don't know how these guys get followers. They post these like stupid fitness hacks, and they say, lift weights, for this, do cardio for mental health and your lungs and your heart, but don't do it for fat loss. Where did that come from? No, do cardio for fat loss. Like, yes, it does the other things too, but why are they playing down calorie burn from cardio? Meanwhile, the guys who are posting that probably look awful. So I wouldn't take advice from anyway, but that drives me nuts when they're like, don't do cardio for fat loss. Most people probably should do more cardio, not less.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm a fan of doing less personally.
No, but you don't necessarily need it. I'm just saying most people that I interact
I'm joking.
with not doing any, they probably should be doing some.
I should be doing some too. I just don't.
I mean, it's something I push my guys in prep. Most of them do a lot of cardio.
No, I should be doing more, but I'm terrible. I just fucking hate it, man. I don't know why I despise it so much. I just hate it.
They did I can send you a link if you want to put it up later in here. They did a really cool study with like 50 people, and they did the diet in a lab. So they got all of them at maintenance calories. They got exact, and they were fed in a lab too, so the food was controlled. They stayed at maintenance, and they did 2 hours a day of cardio, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour at night, zone 2. And none of them lost a single pound of muscle. They lost between 9 pounds and 19 or 20 pounds, depending. They even had identical twins in there, and they showed that even between identical twins, the fat loss was different. But it was pretty cool to see. So like 2 or 3 weeks of 2 hours a day of cardio caused no muscle loss. And it caused.
Were they eating at maintenance during that time frame?
No drug.
Interesting.
Not on steroids. They did full labs. They did very exact control of everything else.
Yeah, I know Justin had talked about it. Like he was curious. You know, there's some fascination with how like people that were endurance athletes and did a lot of cardio before with mitochondrial function, and they seem to do better in bodybuilding. I used to do a lot, you know, I joke about the cardio, but I used to do like some distance cycling. I played basketball. I used to, you know, be very active. I mean, I would go out for 70, 80 mile bike rides and stuff.
I used to be a century cyclist. I did century road bikes. Yep.
Yeah, I miss road biking. I've got an awesome trail by my house that runs, it's 50 miles long or so.
Nice.
It's an old railroad track that's paved over that runs into DC and all the way out into the country. It's pretty freaking cool. But yeah, I miss it. I thought about, you know, of course, being a distance cyclist and doing bodybuilding are two contradictory goals.
Yeah, you want to be as light as possible if you're going to be a distance cyclist.
Paul, I'll send you a link to the study now so you can put it up.
Okay. I will put it in the. Let me see if I can copy this. We'll put it in the chat.
Well, that's an interesting thing too with bodybuilding. I feel like in the 90s and early 2000s, the guys, you know, the Lee Priests and the Ronnie Colemans, they were doing 1 to 2 hours cardio a day. And everyone today seems really cardio adverse.
I wither away when I do cardio, man. I don't know, man. I try to get away with as little as I possibly can when I'm on prep. I don't think I got over 30 minutes my whole prep. It's just I've done it both ways. I just don't hang on to muscle when I do a ton. My body wants to go back to being 175 pounds.
More Tren.
More Tren.
I think it's also important to keep your hematocrit down, especially when you're running bigger doses. It really helps with that. Keep your blood pressure down, keep everything.
All right, do we have another question here? I would get one or maybe two more in.
We have a ton of questions today, as a matter of fact. So let me get Tina's in here real quick. She's got a question for Amy. She's going under the knife for a butt lift and a thigh-plasty this Wednesday. She got a great surgeon who's experienced with competitors. She has started BPC 157. Is there anything else she should consider to speed up the recovery?
Number one thing I would add in is not even something that you take. I would do hyperbaric oxygen as soon as you are cleared by your physician to do it. I mean, we have a hyperbaric oxygen chamber in our office that we use for patients post-operatively, but specifically for large incisional surgeries like those are going to be. I mean, it is remarkable the improvement in range of motion, just everything, tissue healing when our patients are doing hyperbaric versus the ones who can't or don't want to or whatever. It's night and day. That would be my number one recommendation. And
imagine
the other thing too with the thigh lift, Tina, is get the bombshell booty pillow. I'll find you on Instagram and send you the link, because you will not sit normally for many, many weeks. And it gets fatiguing when you're having to try and stand all the time because you won't sit. So the bombshell booty pillow is really cool because it has two pillows, one of which you put basically under your thighs, like the back, like even more toward your knee. And then the other one sits behind you. So doing things like when you are cleared to like drive, you're never having to let your butt or like the areas of incision touch the seat. It keeps that area like suspended in air. I'm not describing this well, because the pillow's under your legs. So like your butt is allowed to be like elevated. It will make a huge, huge difference in your recovery. I'm sure you already have a shiwi or a funnel of some sort to stand for going to the restroom, but getting that bombshell booty pillow and doing hyperbaric oxygen therapy, top things. And there's a silver healing gel that I love topically for incisional. It's Argentin 23. is really, really good for topical application on all of your incisions. It just keeps them hydrated without keeping them wet, which when you have an area where there's like skin on skin, specifically with a thigh lift, you don't want to let that incision get like macerated, or like putting like a bacitracin or a triple antibiotic ointment on it can keep it really like wet almost. Whereas the silver hydrogel is silver, so it's very antimicrobial, but it also allows that tissue to heal in an area without being completely occlusive. It's not occlusive from oxygen penetration, so it allows the incisions to heal, keeps the abrasion down in those areas where there's skin on skin contact. I could go on. You got to stop me.
I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
Tina said her surgeon just got a hyperbaric chamber.
Perfect. Oh, you will love it. Do it as soon as you can. And I would plan on doing at least 10 sessions, try and get in there for 90 minutes at a time. The only downside of being there for so long is you having to go to the bathroom, but like just zone out. It's great. It will make you heal so much faster.
I'm imagining like Darth Vader's meditation chamber. Just like, is that
kind of what it's like? Yeah.
Awesome.
Ours looks like a submarine. Like it really does. And I always feel like I'm, when I close the door on it, because it's this big glass door that closes, or it's composite plastic. It's like, I always tell people, like, enjoy the ride. It's like I'm sending them up in a spaceship.
It's fantastic.
All right, let's get one more in.
Sure. I like this one. I know you've talked about it before, but Paul, how were you able to openly talk about steroids while working a corporate job?
Well, I quit my corporate job.
while you were working there, how could you do it?
I don't think people really care that much. I just didn't give a fuck. That's what I did.
Did it help that you were the CEO?
It did help. It did help. And also, if you make people enough money, I don't think they give a fuck. If I weren't making them money, they probably would have cared more.
Yeah.
I definitely, when I started the YouTube channel, it was something I was concerned about. Like, I was just like, it was like back and forth, and then I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to throw it all out there. Whatever happens, happens.
We're happy you did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just got to a point in my life where I'm like, I'm just going to be me, 100% me, and put it all out there, and people, whatever happens, happens. And I just, like, I don't like living a life of a lie or hiding or misleading people. I think that's the main thing. I think it was very frustrating. Kurt, you remember, man, in the 90s and early 2000s, every fucking bodybuilder was fake natty. Like they all denied taking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody owned up to it.
It's part of the reason for the stigma today is that nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to admit it. So that's why what you're doing is incredibly important for past, for future posterity and everybody.
Yeah, and it's shocking. I've been, talking to some friends about it. I was talking to a friend yesterday, but like you start to realize how many people are actually using PEDs. Like, my partner, she was saying, she's like, one of her friends was shocked that she thought that NFL players use PEDs. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? All professional athletes do. I would say 90%. I'm sure there's some that aren't.
Pro athletes do.
I mean, why wouldn't they? You have, dude, I'm doing it for a plastic trophy. You got millions of dollars on the line. Why wouldn't you want every possible advantage that you could have?
Yeah, when even the Olympics, the way they set up the testing is basically you're allowed to do a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So they don't do a metabolite test. They do an epi to test ratio, and they give you a 6-to-1, so no natural human can have a 6-to-1. You can have 4-to-1. If you're a freak, you can have 4-to-1. So they allow you up to 6-to-1, and if you go over that, like you get greedy with your gear, then they'll do a metabolite test. So the guys like Ben Johnson that got flagged for Winstrol, he was doing a ton of stuff. It wasn't like he took 20 milligrams of Winstrol because he skewed the ratio way.
Yeah, basically most professional sports say, without saying it, they're like, all right, you can use this amount, but don't go above that.
And the human body hasn't changed. We have not evolved in 40,000 years. So what what would be different now than it was 100 years ago in sports? Why are we getting better?
I won't name
a little better, the food's a little bit, but like
I won't name the sport, but I did talk to a professional athlete, and he said that they were told that they want them to, not look enhanced, but have the advantages of being on it. So it's like don't make yourself look like a bodybuilder, basically.
Mhm.
That's what they didn't want it to be like blatantly obvious. So that's kind of their, which it's so silly that we're at that point. Like they push opioids on these guys, and they give these guys so many NSAIDs, like that
opioids and what's the shot that makes the pain go away? Cortisol.
Yeah.
But these are both like long term. These are going to fucking destroy your life in one way or the other. How many athletes get hooked on opioids? And then when the games stop and the checks stop coming in, like there they are, just bereft with a fucking addiction.
Well, just NSAIDs alone, like this, ibuprofen seems
Harmless.
how many? It seems harmless, but how many football players end up with kidney failure from NSAIDs?
Yeah. Well,
they're probably, if they just taken some GH and testosterone, they might not have had to been piled up on all those NSAIDs.
Yeah, or maybe God forbid, we were able to derive some fucking analgesics from Mary Jane over the past 100 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wonder why not. Anyway,
I saw somebody asked about somebody was asking about my pro show.
Yeah, I got that one too. Nathan, when will Paul make his pro debut?
I think the Tampa Pro is kind of what I'm looking at. We'll see. I'm not 100% set on that yet, but
that's very exciting.
I think the Tampa Pro and maybe Masters Worlds. I don't know. I heard that there was the competition was great at Masters Worlds, but they said there was nobody there. Nobody watched the show.
Crazy. Well, I'll be there.
Well, I mean, it's the weekend after North American, so that's the biggest amateur show of the year usually. And like everybody was like, I'm out of town. But the Tampa Pro, they have a Masters division. So, but what I'm trying to figure out now is if I'm going to do classic or if I'm going to stay in open, because I'm like in this weird in between spot. Like 242 is the cutoff for me in the pros for classic, and I was 250 at Masters National, so I'm within striking distance.
Yeah.
If I'm going to do
some
open,
damage.
If I'm going to do open, I need to move up. I need to get bigger. This hanging around 250 is. I'm still like the same weight as I was at my show.
I could definitely see you wrecking in a classic category.
We'll see.
Yeah.
You want to do one more, or
yeah, let's do one more.
All right. DJ, whose question I have chosen for reasons that are my own. It seems like I only get Tren cough when it is solo in a pin, and I very, very rarely get it when I mix in with other compounds. What's the science behind this?
You want me to go?
Yeah, I do.
It's only from acetate because as it releases from the ester really quickly, and it causes you basically went through a capillary and enters circulation, and it goes to your lungs, and it's called a micropulmonary embolism. You can get it from other steroids, but they don't generally cause the cough. And so when the oil ends up in your lungs with that micropulmonary embolism, you have a prostaglandin response that causes your bronchial constriction that causes you to cough. So that's when you feel like your airway tighten up and you start to sweat. If you put it with other compounds, so like if you were to pin test and Tren A and you put the Tren in the syringe first and then the test on top of it, most likely unless you shook it, most likely what's happening when you pushed it in, the test probably entered circulation first. So you probably didn't push, or you diluted the concentration. It just wasn't enough to cause the same reaction. But yeah, it's generally common when you pin Tren A alone.
Man, I ganked a vein last year. I ganked a vein last year with Test and Primo, and I coughed for like 30 fucking minutes straight. I thought I was going to have to go to the ER.
Yeah, if you get it from other stuff like that, and you should have an X-ray on your lungs because you want to make sure there's no oil sitting in them.
I'm still alive. Like a true bodybuilder, I'm good. I didn't
What's
die
a little
after...
oil in the lungs? Fucking
I didn't-
When you inject anything, you're gonna go through capillary.
Well, you hear?
Not.
Have you heard Milos' story about when he injected synthol and accidentally hit a vein, and he said he put 3 cc's of synthol in a vein, and I think they had to do CPR on him. I think that was the story.
Embolus that way. That would.
Jesus.
Yeah, he said he almost died.
Yeah. I mean, what would you even, Kurt? I mean, what would you even do to counteract
some dirt
that?
on
I
it.
mean, it's
That oil.
yeah. I mean, it's like when somebody gets a fat
Surgery?
embolus. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a reversal.
no,
He
and
said
that's
that
why
was the
with
last
With
time.
filler, you can like reverse it, but when it's in your lungs, I don't know how you.
no.
He said that
and
was the
that's why
last
with
time he
fat
ever used
transfer,
synthol.
yeah, it's so dangerous if you get a fat embolus because there's really nothing you can do to break it up. It's not like a typical clot. You can't give somebody a clot busting drug for a fat embolus
That's crazy.
or an oil embolus.
Yeah, with 3 cc's in both triceps. Yeah, he has a crazy story up about that, and like he discourages people from using synthol because of his experience with it. He said he almost died. He said it wasn't steroids never almost killed him. It was synthol. There was one guy here that paid. I feel like we got to get in Jens.
Yeah, no, I know. I was
Jens,
just
whatever.
It's another
see how many US dollars he's
another
paying
one
so
of
far
those
today.
Norwegians.
Yeah, I don't know what the exchange rate is, but Jens wants to know, would 500 test and 400 Primo be good? I'm guessing.
Well, good for what?
Yeah.
It's subjective. I mean, if it's your
presumably he's trying to build muscle.
if you're a good responder and it's early in your, I'm assuming you're new at doing steroids. If you're asking the question, I mean, if it's a second or third or fifth cycle or whatever, sure, why not? If you're a good responder, is it what a pro bodybuilder would use? Maybe a day on a cruise.
I would say the one thing you gotta worry about or just keep an eye on, like, and this is what I tell people with Primo, like with my clients, is some people that ratio, you're going to have your estrogen absolutely buried. Some guys are just fine. I can run Primo high and I seem to be fine. Although this year I was 6 week post show and my estrogen was still single digits.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, usually
I
get an
can't run
estrogen
Primo
rebound.
much higher than 400 milligrams, no matter what amount of test I use anymore. Same with
I'm running test in EQ right now, and I had to add in some more tests because I think my estrogen's low because my joints are hurting. But yeah, it's subjective.
Primo is a great cycle. The dose is on your response and your experience.
I usually start people off. I don't know how you do it, Kurt, but I usually start them off somewhere between 60 to 80% of their test dose with the Primo. 80 might be a little high.
I typically will make guys titrate test up until we kind of reach a place where test is not going to really be advantageous anymore.
Yeah.
But that's the way it was done forever. I'm trying to avoid the guys who are really new with this stuff adding anabolics to TRT. That doesn't make any sense to me. Not that 500 milligrams of test is,
The only argument I could make for it would be, instead of using, and this is what I've told people, using a Remedex or something like that for estrogen modulation, you can use the Primo for estrogen modulation. And you can get some other benefits from it, like higher free tests from SHBG being lower and a little bit lower of estrogen without having to take an AI. So and you're throwing an anabolic in there on top of it. So
but if you looked at it as a ratio, if you said 300 tests and 300 Primo as a combo versus 600 tests, I'm pretty confident that for most guys, 600 tests is going to build more mass.
Yeah, of course.
And that's I think where people go wrong is that just when these drugs are designed and they're made very tissue selective, you lose overall anabolism by making it tissue selective, right? Nothing, I hate to say it, but probably nothing really beats testosterone as a mass builder, right? Yeah. I mean, you could argue Anadrol possibly Tren, but again, you can't run either of them alone. So you're back to test again. So you might as well just titrate the test up.
Well, I think if anybody's...
you could run, if you ran a gram of test and an appropriate amount of GH, you can make really great progress for a long time.
I mean, I think John Jewett proved that.
Yep.
I mean, he's a test guy. And then Chase, I mean, just like a Chase.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I'm using is test now, GH. I'll leverage other things if I need to push harder, but what do you like? And from a health point of view, nothing's going to be healthier than running tests and GH,
Mm-hmm.
as far as steroids are concerned.
As the old as the old hats, the old school bodybuilders used to say, test is best.
That's right.
That's what all the old dudes said. All right, guys, I think that's all we got for this one. And this was a long one. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for your support. The donations are going to the next the Arnold Classic meal. So
That's right.
we had dinner, so thank you guys for dinner.
Buy a lot of tongue tacos with those. Thank you.
Yeah.
I will promise you this, that the meal is going to be much cheaper in Columbus than it was in Vegas.
Yes.
It was a great meal.
Food was not cheap in Vegas. All right, guys, take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.